Hey, boys and girls. Ron Bass with another edition of Soar Personal Development, your source for inspiration and encouragement. Today, joining me, Mr. Davin Hunley.
Hello.
Mr. Producer.
Mr. Producer, that'd be me.
Yes, sir. Well, you might ask, what are we going to talk about today?
What are we going to talk about?
I'm glad you asked. Today we're going to talk about attitudes.
Oh my, okay. Good ones, bad ones?
Good ones, bad ones, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Oh, ugly attitudes. Those are the worst.
Well, but you know what? It's pretty prevalent.
I agree. I think a lot of people have an attitude problem.
A lot of people have that.
That's just my opinion.
And the real question is, why is that?
Because they're all into themselves.
Well, that's some of it. There's a whole lot of reasons why people have a bad attitude. Primarily, I think it's because people just don't feel good about themselves. And so a bad attitude sort of is a reflection, I think, of that.
Low self-esteem.
Low self-esteem, poor self-image, low self-worth, all that stuff.
Okay.
Right? So, but talking about attitudes in general, I mean, some people are pleasant, some people have mean attitudes, some people have difficult attitudes, some people are just kind of indifferent. But everybody's got some kind of an attitude. I think to be successful in life, you have to have a good attitude. You have to have at least be even-keeled.
I agree.
And if you're not, it's hard to get along with people. What was the book that was written by way back in the day? How to get along with people. It was How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
Dale Carnegie, who was the big successful guy in New York City, Carnegie Hall. Yeah. That was the original Madison Square Gardens. Back in the day, I mean, that was where they had all the big events. And I tell you the story about the little boy that walked up to the guy on the street in New York City and said, "How do I get to Carnegie Hall?"
Practice.
And the old man looked at him and goes, "Practice, practice, practice." I thought about that tonight. One of our students at our same-day jiu-jitsu school in Springfield was kind of complaining about, well, maybe he didn't feel like he was advancing quick enough, fast enough. And I said, "Hey, man, you just got to work at it. There's nothing that comes fast in life. You have to." We were talking about this earlier about our entertainment company. It takes time. Everything takes time to develop and grow and to build, and you just don't get there overnight.
No, and
attitude plays a role.
I agree.
If you have a good attitude, what happens?
You're going to do well, and your work ethic is going to improve as well. Like, if you really enjoy what you do and you go through life happy on a daily basis, your work ethic will follow that.
How come more people aren't happy? Let's explore that.
I'm not sure.
What are the influences that cause people not to be happy and have a bad attitude?
Well, okay, people are the biggest influence on themselves.
So people around you, you're saying, if you have the wrong kind of people around you, it's a bad influence.
Yes. 100%.
Makes you feel they put you down, they're not pleasant to be around, they're difficult, they're manipulators.
There's multiple.
They're users.
They could put you down, or they could put you on this really huge pedestal, like you're the cool person, and then your ego gets big. And
okay, so here's a bigger question. How come people feel like they have to be around so many people? What is it about people that can't? Why can't people be more independent?
I don't know. I think
and not have to have this whole big group of people around them all the time to feel like they're whole or something.
I think some people feel alone, and then I also think,
where does that come from? Why do people feel so alone?
Well, here's the thing. Some people feel like they probably are missing out. The FOMO, the fear of missing out. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, FOMO, fear of missing out.
I've never heard of that before.
It's an acronym. Yeah, fear.
FOMO.
Fear of missing out.
I learned something.
Yep. So
fear of missing out.
A lot of people have that, especially in my age group, my generation.
Wow.
It's very oh my God, all my friends are out doing whatever, but I have to work in the morning, but we still go out because we have the fear of missing out.
Missing out.
And then you are tired for work the next day, and then you have a bad attitude. So
being tired can create a bad attitude.
Yes.
Being ill, not feeling good physically can create a bad attitude.
Mental illness can create a bad attitude.
Illness is a big topic.
Yeah.
Huge topic.
Feeling manic.
Is it really mental illness, or is it really more? I think it's more what we should call it brain illness.
Brain illness.
Chemistry issues.
Yes.
Things aren't firing correctly. I think a lot of that's genetics.
It is. There's multiple things. I'm not a doctor, so
no,
I couldn't tell you. But I've had a class on it before, if that counts for it.
Yeah, that helps.
I got a C in it or a D, something like that. But
did you know I barely passed high school?
Really?
I almost flunked high school. That's bad, isn't it?
I almost did too. It wasn't flunk.
I barely got out of high school. And then I went to college. I lasted 2 semesters. I got kicked out after 2 semesters for poor grades, and it's terrible, isn't it?
It happens.
I just wasn't a school guy.
No, I mean, I understand. I was a school person for
I was a slow learner. I've always been a slow learner.
I had a great attitude in elementary and middle school, and then high school came around, and my attitude just got awful. Like maybe middle school, my attitude got awful.
So you're a fast learner. You've got a high IQ.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
But that's genetics. I think genetics play a bigger role in everything more than people want to talk about. Like if you work really hard and you do this and you do that, you can be anything you want to be. Maybe.
I'm huge on the environment. It has to, genetics do play a very large role, but your environment plays a bigger role. The people you
I think genetics is a big factor, particularly in sports, particularly
in sports, yes.
in music, I think, because you can't, I mean, if you're a certain size physically, no matter how talented you are, you may not get to the top of the heap in sports as an example.
That's true.
You can work harder than anybody and still maybe not get there. But if you've got good genetics, that puts you ahead of the curve.
I agree with you.
And I know people are going to say, "Oh, Ron, that's not necessarily true. You can make it anyway." Theoretically, you can do anything, but I think some people are more likely to succeed in different things than other things, depending on their genetics and depending on their environment. But determination will definitely get you a long ways. Good work ethic, consistency is going to get you far enough down the line that you're going to be glad that you had those traits.
I agree.
Now, are you going to get to the very top? Are you going to be the number one? Maybe not. But you don't have to be number one to be successful.
No.
Heck, I mean, you could accomplish a whole lot without having to be the number one person in your field.
Yeah, if I was
imagine
being the greatest producer of all time. There are multiple of them, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm hardly even close to that, but you haven't
had the life's experience yet.
But I still feel
7 years
successful.
in to your profession.
I agree.
Look at a guy like Quincy Jones. He's 90, been doing it since he was knee high.
Well, I'm just
Michael Jackson's producer.
Right. What I mean is, I still feel success. My attitude is very top notch right now, like in the sense of I'm ready to work, I'm ready to get better.
And you are getting better, and you're always willing to work, and you have a lot of success already with your artists and what you're accomplishing. But now it's just the rest of the world has to know it.
Exactly.
That's the notoriety that you have to claim that kind of success.
Right, exactly.
Right or wrong?
No, it's true, because then no one's going to, it's always did you really, how you make music. When I tell people I make music, they give me this funny look, and they're like, oh, you must produce in your home. And I'm like, no, I have like 12 artists and run a record.
You're doing the damn thing.
Yeah. It's just kind of, it's humorous to see reactions like that sometimes because they have a bad attitude.
SoarHighEntertainment.com if you want to go to our site and learn more about our entertainment company.
Soar High Records on Spotify. We have a playlist with all of our music that's been released.
Yes.
That gets
almost
updated.
A dozen artists right now that you've produced already music for.
Almost 60 songs have been released through
That's exciting.
Through us. So
and stay tuned. We're doing more shows. We're going to be doing more shows. Our website's going to be updated pretty quick. We've hired a girl named Jess to help us to do some of the marketing and some of the legwork, so Davin can focus on being the creator of the music.
Man.
Yeah, which he's really good at, of course.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
So back to attitudes. See, attitudes is everything, man. Look what happens when you have a good attitude.
Yeah,
you're
when
smiling,
you have a good attitude.
you feel good, you're ready to go, you're more ambitious.
Exactly. And then when you have a bad attitude...
Ooh, nobody wants to be around you.
Yeah, nobody wants to be around you. You don't want to be around anybody else either, because then you're like, oh, my bad attitude ruins it for them, so fuck them, blah, 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 But there's a way to fix a bad attitude, too. There's multiple ways.
Well, like you said earlier, though, environment, I think, plays a big role in attitude. Genetics, I think, plays a big role in attitude.
Because imagine you have 10 people that have bad attitudes and you're the 11th person, you're going to have a bad attitude.
Life's experiences plays a role in attitude, too, because
I agree.
I think the further down the line you get, the more you begin to see things clearer. You understand things better.
You learn a lot about yourself.
I think in the end it comes down to just not giving up on yourself. If you can stick with yourself, and if you just have a few people that believe in you, that goes a long ways in life.
I agree.
And we're talking about being ambitious here, but let's face it, most people are probably happy to work 40 hours a week and have a wife and a kid and a picket fence and a 1,000 square foot house.
Do the social norms.
Go to vacation once a year and travel for 2 weeks and and go to Popeyes every other night and
not enough for
hang
me.
out.
Not enough for me.
No, but I'm saying I think that's the average guy.
Yeah, that is.
And I'm not downing that.
No, there's nothing wrong.
That's
with that.
cool.
That is cool.
But that's not me.
No,
and that's not you.
That's not any of the people we hang around.
In a way,
to be
being ambitious can be like a curse because it drives you to be more.
Ambition is the drug.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Ambition is.
So I read an article about that, endorphins to the brain, and that anything that makes you feel good, your brain it has to have more of it.
Yes.
So it just craves that feel good.
That's
the
dopamine. And some people release more than others. So that's where the addictive personality comes in. Just
addictive personality, but I think everything has addiction about it. In other words, if you're with in a relationship, you get addicted to the person because the person brings you pleasure. So the dopamine goes up, and you feel good. You want to be around that person.
So think about it like this: the three main things: phone, work, and home. If you get addicted to home with video games or relationship, like you were saying, your phone, you can get addicted to that very easily, and you can get addicted to work. So imagine if you're addicted to all of them.
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And when you don't have it, you tend to go down and dip, and you're depressed, and you're not happy.
Become very manic. Yeah.
You gotta be careful with all that.
Yeah.
But I think if you understand it, at least you can manage it.
I agree. And that's the biggest thing. There's no surefire way to fix anything. Sometimes you just have to manage it.
I think if you get back to just basics, though, like if you have mental health issues, you have to manage it. Medication, exercise, counseling.
I agree.
That's really about all you, and maybe some people say prayer, okay. If you don't have brain illnesses, then it's basic things: rest, exercise, nutrition, and be a goal setter. Always be a goal setter. If you're manic, if you're schizophrenic, it doesn't matter what you are, you have to always be setting goals, because that by itself is an addiction, but it's a good addiction because it makes you feel good to accomplish.
Right.
To work hard and find solutions and be a problem solver. Today, my black belt, Luis Vercao, we were talking, and he says, "Ron, you're a professional problem solver." And I thought about it. I guess I am. That's really what I do all day long in my businesses and in my personal life and in my sport life and in my martial arts life. I'm a problem solver, which is fine.
You passed that on to me.
Passing it down to you.
Yeah, you did. You did already. That's what I do. That's how music works.
I like it.
You have this recording and you have to fix it when you mix and master it. You have to make it sound like a whole song. So
Interesting.
I'm a professional problem solver.
I like it.
It's not really a problem, but you know what I mean.
Well, it's a challenge. It's overcoming the challenge and finding solutions.
Exactly.
You call it whatever you want, but it's the same thing. So anyway, good attitudes, bad attitudes. Why do we have them? What can we do to change them? What are the consequences if we don't? A lot of questions, a lot of questions, a lot of subjects.
But we only have 3 minutes.
We have 3 minutes.
Because our camera battery might die.
It
might already be dead.
Speaking of a challenge.
Yeah.
But
this is a problem that we didn't solve, but we're going to solve it.
Isn't that interesting? We've had this before.
We have. I know.
Okay, so closing thoughts. I think we've spent a lot of short period of time tonight.
I agree. This one felt good. I like this podcast.
Yeah, well, we have a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on in our lives, and we can share it with people and hopefully inspire somebody somewhere out there.
I think my closing argument or my closing statement would be, like we're in court.
Yeah.
How to fix a bad attitude. Find good people around you. Find a good mentor. Key word. Find people, just even friends, even if they're not your mentors, just find people that you really enjoy being around, and they're going to fix a bad attitude.
And have you in their best interest.
Yes, exactly. Not themselves. That creates bad attitudes.
That's a friend.
Yes, exactly.
Not expecting anything in return.
No.
Giving and not wanting anything back. That's a friend.
I agree.
That's a true friend.
I agree with you.
You throwing it back to me?
Yeah, I think. What's your final thoughts, Ron?
My final thought is real simple. Don't give up. Hang in there. Be consistent. Follow the rules.
Yep.
And you know what? Face the fiddle every day. When you look in the mirror every morning, be honest with yourself. Mm-hmm. Don't sugarcoat what's not going on in your life that's not going well. Fix it. Find a solution. Write it down. Write down the top 5 things that you don't like about your life and work on it every single day. I promise you can, if you can't find an exact solution, you can at least manage the circumstances and at least improve the circumstances, at least improve your life. And that's a big deal. You don't have to be perfect, guys. There is no perfect. We're not God. So quit trying to be perfect and just work on improvement. Fair enough?
Yep.
Okay. I guess that's it for today, guys. So just remember, if you don't give up, the stars will always line up. So until next time, stay positive.